And before we move on to our external effects, there's one little trick I would like to show you guys inside of Serum. Let's go over to the Global tab, and I'm going to go over to the width, and we'll turn this down a bit, because sometimes you might not want that full stereo presence to your bass. You might only want a little bit of stereo just to spice things up. So you can hear that with the width at 100, the bass is fully in stereo, and if we put it down at 0, the bass has been converted to be fully mono. So let's find a good middle ground. I'm going to push this little button up so it controls both the left and the right channels. And I think we're good at about 56 or 57. That gives us just enough stereo information in our bass. And finally, we're going to wrap up this tutorial by throwing on some external effects. This sound is pretty good as it is, but once we throw on these effects, it's going to become even better. The first effect we're going to add might seem like an odd one at first. We're going to throw on a gate. So just go over to your audio effects and then drag on a gate. The reason why we're using a gate here is because we're going to add even more compression to this sound. We already threw on a multiband compressor inside of Serum, and we're going to add another one in just a few minutes. Sometimes when you're over-compressing your basses, you're going to run into weird audio issues where you have feedback noises at the end of your bass. So to get rid of that, we're going to need to add a gate before we add on the extra compression. So let's take the threshold and we'll put this down a bit so the bass has some room to breathe. You can hear when we put the threshold knob down lower, it lets our bass signal come in cleaner. And we don't want this knob to be too high. We want it to be just low enough so it catches those weird feedback sounds. So I think we can put it on about maybe negative 45 or 44 dB. That should work right there. I'm also going to take our floor and put that down to negative infinite dB. And the next effect we're going to add on is going to be a reverb. So we'll just take that and drag it onto our track right here. And we're going to have a very small, subtle reverb, because remember, after this, we're going to have some more compression. And what the compression is going to do is it's going to over-exaggerate the reverb and make it sound a lot more strong. So we're going to want a very small reverb so it gets over-exaggerated and it sounds more natural. I'm going to go over to input processing. We'll turn low cut on and leave high cut on. And we'll just make a little bandpass curve. You don't need to be super accurate with this. Just do something like this, a little shape right here. I'm going to turn the chorus off. We don't really need that. And I'm going to go over to our decay time, and I'm going to put it on something a bit more manageable. I think we can go for maybe around 400 milliseconds. We'll go for 432 milliseconds, right there. And we'll also take the dry wet, and we'll put that down to something much more manageable as well. About 11% should be good, right about there. And finally, we're going to wrap up this bass completely by throwing on a multiband dynamics, and we're going to go for the OTT preset. So let's just drag that on, and here we have our sound. And you can hear that the OTT preset did a great job of really overcompressing the sound and making it sound huge. And now I'm going to show you guys why we need the gate. If we turn the gate off and then we play a note with our sound, you hear those weird noises that happen at the end of our bass? They don't sound very nice, so that's why you need the gate. And that gets rid of all of the unwanted feedback.